Hello, my name is Patrice. I am a singer, songwriter, and voice coach. And today I want to go over something with you that I think is one of the most important things that a singer and performer needs to be able to achieve to have success in this industry. So buckle up, let's dive in. Alright, so what am I talking about? What do I think, and this comes from my many years of observation and being an artist and working around artists, but also my many years of teaching and working with artists and working them through the struggles of what's important, where do we need to go, building up from where they're in the beginning and they're copying people and they're looking for what are the key things that need to be happening or where do we need to go to have success in this industry. And so for me, the most important thing that a singer / performer needs to get to is a point of being themselves, right? I fairly recently had heard something and I thought it was fascinating. It was like all emotions have a certain energy or frequency to it, and the person that was talking about this was talking about the idea that there are high frequencies and then there's low frequencies, and obviously it's more optimum to be in a higher frequency, but at the end of the day they were able to kind of measure things, and they said, do you know what is the highest frequency that people are drawn towards? And my mind instinctively is like love. It has to be love. Like, people love love. People are drawn to that. That makes them feel good, so forth. And so I was like, and it's not love. And I was like, what? Like, what is it then? And what they said too was authenticity. The thing that people most resonated with or that drew people to other people was being authentic. And this, my friends, to me is the key thing that singers, performers need to get to. Now, it's almost easier said than done, because I'll always say too, to me, emotion's super important, right? Being able to get to the point where you can give an emotional performance is really the top of the pyramid for me when it comes to your vocals and performing and all that. But along the lines with that is also you have to be able to do that. But how do you give a real emotional performance? Well, that comes hand in hand with being authentic. Being able to really understand what you're singing. Being able to understand your voice. So, and that comes along with the journey, right? So how do we really get to that point, right? Because it's really important. And in the beginning, a lot of times we're having to be thinking about our technique, right? Rightfully so. When you're starting out on this journey, you're not at the point necessarily, maybe from the beginning, maybe someone, maybe not, but I feel like your attention is more on how do I sound with these notes, am I singing the right lyrics, how's the melody, all of those different things, and that actually needs to be happening, right? So before you can kind of get to a point of diving into and understanding the emotion of a song, you really have to first dissect it with the technical end of it, right? Because let's go to if we're in our heads, am I going to hit this note? What are the lyrics? What am I doing here? If you have all of that happening, you really can't be getting into this because it's too much noise here that has to be handled before we can kind of get into okay, here, I'm feeling this, and then that can go up to the audience. And it's almost like the journey too when it comes to us as singers and developing ourselves and really becoming authentically who we are, which as a little side note, changes through time, right? As life experience happens to you, who you are, the core of who you are, develops, right? Can change. That's why we see people doing different styles of albums, right? You watch Lady Gaga. She went from her first album and meat dresses and different things, and then you have Joanne, and then you have... So it's just kind of an evolution of the artist, and you're seeing it play out in real time. But I wouldn't say that the one before was unauthentic to them or not really them. It's just a different part of them in a different stage of life. But back to what I'm saying in regards to yourself there, you're going to continue. The goal is as you learn more of your craft, as you understand your voice, and all that there, you're going to learn how to use your instrument, how it feels right for you, right? So I said level 1 for me is like, let's get the fundamentals. Let's understand how to breathe properly. What's happening with our shape? What's happening with our tongue? All the mechanics of the voice, all of that. And as we get level 2, it's like, okay, how are you making these things your own? Right? And that really comes from a point of having confidence in your instrument, but also confidence in your voice and starting to understand who you are, right? Are you more of a singer-songwriter? Are you more of a rock artist? Are you more of an R&B? Are you more of musical theater? Whatever it may be, starting to understand where you fit best, and then taking these songs and how they feel good for you is the key element, I think, in starting to develop into who is authentically you. And I will leave you with this. I would say people don't need, right? In the beginning, we're copying songs. So we are, again, going back to like learning, memorizing lyrics, doing all that stuff. We don't need another Ed Sheeran. We don't need another Rihanna. We don't need another Teddy Swims, right? Teddy Swims, you know what I'm talking about. People don't want that. What they crave, what they love about them, right? We still love those artists. We still want those artists. But we want them because they are authentic, they're themselves, right? So as you're working on these songs, it's important to understand that, yes, I want to take these songs, and sometimes we feel those songs so closely to how the artist is. So when we perform on point with what they're doing, never be afraid to change it up to make it your own. Because at the end of the day, we want to hear, an audience wants to hear you in your voice. We don't need another Ted Swim. We need another you. So I hope this helped. If it did, feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to subscribe here. Click that like button. It helps me to know that I'm reaching out to you and I'm getting to you all and helping you all, and that makes me feel wonderful. So, again, I hope this helped you. If it did, feel free to share. All right, over and out.